We're live.
We are live. Okay.
After discovering that the past few episodes I've been recording them incorrectly.
It can happen. We're living in a technological world. And
this is a learning curve, you know? We're all learning together.
But as our listening audience may have heard, that in the earlier episodes, there was a clear, vibrant, solid sound between the both of us, and then something got turned off, and only one of us had a hot mic.
Yeah, and I was just disappearing into the...
Yeah, and we thought Mary was just being more timid, and it wasn't that at all. It was that her mic wasn't on. Today is November 20th, 2024, and it's just literally a week before Thanksgiving. So we thought about a couple of things that would be interesting, even for you to join in and participate in.
Yeah, join in and talk to us. We won't hear you, but
yeah, you don't have to.
It's all good.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't have to hear you, but you'll have an opinion when
we know you're there.
Exactly. So.
And we had so much fun with our Would You Rather episode that this is sort of another.
That to me was the best. Would You Rather?
Game.
We had great questions.
We should ask listeners to submit their questions too. We got to figure out how to do that.
We have to build that website so people can go onto the website and leave comments. You know, it's kind of like
which could be a terrible thing, but could be fun.
But it could direct the podcasts that come in the future because of what you're telling us.
Yeah.
So we'll consider that. But for today, we have a couple of things. First, reactions. When you hear something, there's a reaction, and it's something that just makes you say, whatever, for whatever reason. And
it's like a word association, kind of. Like what your first instinct is when you hear something?
Yeah. So we wrote down a bunch of stuff, and we said, okay, let's try that. And then we also wanted to talk about something that I know everyone is going to want to do, and that is, I'll tell you this right now, there is a test you can take. Mary put me on to this. I took the test. And I'll we're not going to talk about it now. We're going to go to first impressions, but just so you think about this, write this down, 16 personalities, which is a website, right?
Yeah, and you can take a free personality test, because we were talking about how there's a bunch of different tests out there, and you can, I think I made you take the Enneagram test too. That's where you get your numbers. That was a while ago.
That was a while ago, but I took this 16 personalities, and it takes about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it immediately tells you who you are. And I actually thought there was some accuracy here.
It's interesting. I like how they talk about your personality in different settings. So they might have you in your work environment, or you in your relationships, or even relationships with your kids and friendships and stuff like that. So I thought it was kind of cool.
It definitely was. It ended up where I was an ESFP, which means nothing to you. But when you take the test...
Well, what was because they all have titles for every combination of letters. Yours was
ES, like in Sam, ESFP.
Right, but you were the entertainer, right?
That's what I am, the entertainer.
Right.
And I never think of myself as that, although I try to be that. Humor is a thing you got to
I think you are that. You're a good storyteller. I mean,
I do love telling stories.
Yeah.
And when I have somebody like you asking questions, that opens up the door to saying, "Oh, well, I did that," or "What did you do?" It really becomes fun. So anyway, I took this test, and I'm an entertainer according to the test.
I'm a protagonist.
Really?
Yes.
Do I agree with that? You're a protagonist.
Yes. Huh? So I'm a diplomat apparently, and my skill is people mastery.
Well, I would say that, but okay.
Basically, it came up because it also gives you percentages of, like how judging you are, how much you base things on your feelings, or logic. Or the strongest thing for me was intuitiveness, was the one that came up as, 80-something%. Everything else for me was kind of wishy-washy, which,
Do you overthink when you see your people, what was the?
People mastery.
People mastery. So do you see that? Do you see that people like to work with you because you know what they need?
I think I try to think of, where another person is at in the situation. So
All right.
I guess that kind of makes sense, right?
Do your friends call upon you to settle arguments because you have the mastery of, if there's a disagreement, can you come to a common ground?
I can't think of any disagreements, but
Yeah, there's no disagreements.
I would try to be helpful in the conversation,
Yes.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, we could
I don't
take some more personality tests. And I feel like it could change depending on when you take it.
Well, I don't have that many years left. I can't change that many more times. I think I'm in the last iteration of whatever I'm going to be.
Yeah, the ultimate personality.
I have accumulated over the years a number of things. I think I've become more irritable.
Well, that's one of the things that's part of the letters. So you said you're ESFP.
Right. One, I think.
There's something with the letters, because let me see what
really?
I am. It's something with the last letter. So mine are... Oh, no, there was another letter you should have had. You can't have enough letters.
You can't.
So I'm ENFJ, but then it says A, which means something too.
We don't know that. When I ran into our recording studio, I didn't.
Yeah, we'd have to look into it.
I didn't.
But...
So we'll get back. But anyway, we weren't going to talk about this now. But I want you all to think about taking that 16 personality test.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then when we set up our little website, you can write in, and we can then cull some of your responses and talk about it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, we wanted to think about some things that give us a gut feeling when somebody mentions it. Some of it's basic, some of it's a little bit on a higher level.
Yeah, mine's a little all over the place. I don't know what your list is, but
well, I'll give you.
Should we go back and forth like we did with the Would You Rather? Yeah.
Would you rather? Which is the best?
Okay. Well, don't say that, because then
no, I know it's
better.
Up to now. Well, hopefully, that was a thing that my. Talking about we'll get better and this is the best and we shouldn't say that. But I had a sales manager at Time Magazine and he had a meeting and it was early in the morning and he says, I'd like you all to bring in your best sales letters, because we all had to send letters out to clients. And I go in and it ended up being a letter that I had just sent out a couple of days ago. But other salespeople, there were like 12 salespeople in the room, they brought in letters that they had sent like from a year ago or a year and a half ago. And the sales, Tom Huber is the guy's name, he said, well, if it's not your last letter, I don't want to hear about it. Your last letter should be your best letter. And it made me think, it was all a trick question. Bring me your best sales letter. It had better be your last one.
Right.
Rather than from 2 years ago. Why would you send that's your best letter from 2 years ago? And it made me think you always have to give your best effort.
I like that, yeah.
At all times. So the last podcast we had was our best. This will be better.
Right.
But
people can still have favorites.
Oh, of course, depending on the topics and things like that.
Yeah.
So, like I had my first, knowing where you went to school. Well, you went to several schools, but if I said to you, this is first.
Are we starting? Okay.
Oh, shall we not?
Let's start. Let's start.
You go first.
I just want to, no, you go first. You can
Okay.
ask me first.
Okay.
That's fine. I just want to be ready, because I do overthink things. So I want to just.
Well, you do.
Trust my gut.
Okay. Well, if you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and we'll move to the next one. No one will see that.
That's very thoughtful.
And then
I'll be okay.
Okay.
I'll be
all
okay.
right. You see, we have a kind of like a sign language here in the studio. So if we're going into an area that either one of us isn't prepared to talk about,
I like that.
We'll signal each other and we'll go on to the next one. See, now you
codes.
know all the tricks of the trade here.
Yeah. We're such pros.
But, okay, so the first one is Typhoid Mary.
So what does that make me think of?
What does that make you think of? Being Mary.
I mean,
Do you know about?
I do. Of course I know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I feel like I know lots of
I know.
Mary. I mean, there are a lot of Marys over time, but of course they know about
Typhoid
Mary.
Mary. Okay.
And not. I mean, I think of hand washing. That's what it makes me think
Exactly.
of. Right.
But that's not what it was.
What?
The hand washing. That's not what caused the.
Wasn't it that she didn't wash her hands?
No.
And she was a cook?
Yes, she was a cook. She didn't wash her hands, and everyone thought that that's how the disease was transmitted.
Oh, but that's not really why.
But that is not why, because when the researchers went in to see why there were so many sicknesses, about 5 deaths, but hundreds of sicknesses, because you can treat typhoid fever, they noticed this woman from Ireland who came over and was a cook in New York City. And the food she prepared was handled by her with dirty hands. However, the food was cooked, and they found that the bacteria that causes typhoid fever is killed when it's cooked, so it's not in the hands. Oh. What they found was the transmission of the disease was when she made ice cream with peaches. She made her own ice cream, and the peaches that she handled were put into the ice cream and frozen. So when people ate the peaches, remember, not cooked now, they're just frozen, that bacteria just started multiplying crazy in the stomach of the people that ate the ice cream. So it was peach ice cream.
But I mean, it was still her, but it was just the ice cream. It wasn't the other food.
Yeah, it wasn't the other foods by her. So it was by her handling.
That's a good fun fact.
I thought so.
I did not know all those
That's
details.
why we're doing this, because you inform me, I inform you. But
wow.
It's typhoid, and it came at a party in Oyster Bay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
It wasn't in New York City. She was, the Teddy Roosevelt family had a party, and they invited a number of people to come and bring desserts. And so this woman, I forgot her real name. It was a long, it was 3 names to her name. So anyway, she was brought by the family.
Mary Mallon.
She was brought by the family to do the desserts, and so she did peach ice cream. And the people that had that, which was attended by members of the Teddy Roosevelt family, got violently sick, and 2 of them died. So that is in Oyster Bay on Long Island by a woman from Ireland.
Wow.
So, okay.
Poor Mary.
Poor Mary. And then they tried to lock her up for 17 years, and her lawyers were saying that's cruel and inhuman, and nobody could prove. And she...
I mean, she wasn't aware herself.
She was not aware, but then she realized what she was being accused of, and they said, okay, we're going to release you with the proviso that you never be a cook again for anybody, and she agreed to that. And that's
Didn't she, maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but wasn't she hospitalized at different points during her life? For like mental health issues.
Mental health
issues. Which, I mean, how could you not? I feel like after
if you're
going through all of that.
You're killing people and you didn't know you were killing them, and then... it must be tough.
Yeah.
I should be hospitalized, and I don't even kill people. Just tension that I bring. So that's typhoid. Now, you have one for me?
I mean, I just wrote down a lot of random words. And
okay.
So
what would be a word?
I'm going to say a word. You have to say your first
reaction.
First reaction. Coffee.
Oh, my God.
What's the first thing that comes into your head?
The most common addictive drug in the United States.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing. That's the most commonly used addictive, I would say, drug, caffeine, in the United States. And it causes everyone pleasure. You have caffeine, you feel great. Caffeinated drinks, caffeinated coffee. It's a wonderful beverage. And I have it every day. I don't even drink it. I just pour it in my eyes, and I'm wide awake. And I love coffee, but I think of it as, because of its caffeine, I think of it as addictive.
Wow.
And
it's a dark twist.
Leave it to me.
So you never know. You never know.
To turn that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Hospitals.
Oh.
We live and die by
We do.
the work we do for
We do.
hospitals.
Yeah, we do work for hospitals. My husband works in a hospital.
Yes.
I've been in a hospital on occasion.
Gut feeling is it's a
I guess-
necessary evil or a wonderful.
I mean, I guess
benefit.
my head first turns to the work we do with hospitals because I'm working on
Yeah.
publications for them most of the day. So in my head, I think of innovation because that word comes up a whole lot and in every
Yes.
title of everything. But I also think of almost how I don't know how healthcare is going to go in the coming years. So I feel like there's a lot of very exciting
Tech.
things that are being discovered, but I don't know how our society is going to handle healthcare as it moves forward. So it's a mixed bag for me.
I hadn't thought about this next comment except in the last 12 seconds, but when you said that you don't know where healthcare is going and hospitals are innovative, well, I think of it as a wonderful place, especially when I think of like pediatric hospitals for kids that are sick.
Sure, they do amazing things.
And they do amazing things.
They do.
And
I think for the healthcare workers, it's a very stressful environment. So I think about that too.
they do. The healthcare workers. I was in a hospital this morning doing a photo shoot, and just to see the level of love these people have for the equipment that they can use in order to diagnose a problem like cardiac, what do they call that when your arteries, not arterial sclerosis,
That's
but
what- yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna
it's
say.
that. But this new equipment can tell whether your arteries are filled with whatever, and then they can inform what the next step should be. Whether you
Yeah, and
take
there's
a
so much they
stent.
can prevent
So
from happening.
it's unbelievable. So.
Yes.
So that was my question. Hospitals, yours.
Okay. Truth.
Oh my God, I don't know what that is.
Good answer.
I just don't. It's been so long since I've told the truth.
Your answer is dare.
Yeah, truth in the American way. I actually have a smile on my face because I see how truth applies to me, and I bend the truth and I hide the truth. I tell the truth because my feelings are truthful, and I can't hide my feelings. But and then I see the way the world is going, where truth doesn't seem to matter much. And as you once told me, Mary, when we talked about the election, regardless of who won, that's not important right now, but there's so much disinformation
Right.
that nobody knows the truth, and it doesn't seem to matter. And if
Yeah, that's a good point too.
if you're a society that is okay with that and not fighting for the truth, you're just saying, well, whoever is shouting the loudest piece of disinformation is the one I'm going to go for,
Right.
then we don't have very long as an organized world to live in.
Gosh, we're really depressing today.
Aren't we? And there's supposed to be humor to these podcasts.
It's
and
okay.
I have a couple of jokes, though.
It's good. We'll mix it in.
We'll mix it in.
Yeah.
I have a joke I can tell right now. I have two of them, so I could
You have
actually.
two? All right, so tell one now.
So I'll
to
tell right
lighten the
now.
mood,
So
and
can
save
you
one for
tell
later.
me why koalas are not considered bears?
Why?
Well, they don't have the right qualifications, and that's so simple. Actually, there's another line in there where the mother is saying to the daughter, "Hey, why aren't koalas considered bears. And the little snotty kid who's 13 years old, who's playing with her phone, looks up at her mom and says, "Because they're marsupials." and the mother repeats that in a kind of a ticked off way, "Because they're marsupials." And she goes, "No, because they don't have the right qualifications." That made me laugh. And so that's the
Perfect.
that's what we needed right now before we go to the next. Well, how about this for a magazine? We're in the publishing business. I say to you, cosmopolitan. What do you say?
Oh. I mean, yeah, I think of Cosmo.
Sure, I think of Cosmo. Did you ever get Cosmo? Did you ever subscribe to it?
I think we got it in, I want to say it was Cosmo. Because I don't think it was Vogue or anything like that.
No.
I think it was Cosmo. We got it senior year of college. We lived in a house off campus. It was me and 4 other girls. Yeah. And I don't think any of us had a subscription. I think it just came to the house, whoever had lived there before us, because there was always college kids living in that house. And I want to say we did get Cosmo, and it would just randomly be in the living room.
But you didn't use it as a...
I mean, it's always fun to look at.
It is.
I always laugh because now kids and teenagers have TikTok and YouTube to watch these videos about makeup tutorials and stuff like this. So they all look incredible. Like, I feel like every teenager now looks perfect in pictures, the way they dress.
Yes.
But we were all depending on these magazines that had these lame little tips in them and everything, and we all looked like hot messes.
Well, I do have a story about Cosmo, which is why I threw it on my list, because I wanted to get into the business of selling advertising, and a friend of mine who is...
I think did you tell the story
did
already?
Did I? With the
guy with the...
But no, I'm going to
talk... With all the women? Or this is something else?
No, I didn't talk about it. I did talk about him, not talking about him.
Okay.
But that's how I got to Cosmo.
Right.
So I get to Cosmo, and there's Helen Gurley Brown, and she's the managing editor of the magazine. Okay. And I was given a couple of magazines because they wanted me to think about selling advertising. Mm-hmm. And the magazine had 2.5 million newsstand sales, which is unheard of. Most magazines make their money by subscriptions. Mm-hmm. So let's say there's 2.5, like Time Magazine had 4 million subscriptions, and maybe 600,000 were sold on the newsstand. So when you have a subscription, that money is already paid for. All that money is in the house. You can count on it, you can use it, you can invest it. But when you are based on newsstand sales, the money is not yet there. So you have to have a very vibrant newsstand activity in order to have that kind of success. Because not everyone subscribed, not a lot of people subscribed to Cosmo. They bought it on the newsstand. And the fun fact is that each month they had a different color of dress on the woman. So it was red, and next one would be pink, and next one would be green. Mm-hmm. And women have a way of remembering whether they got the last issue and say, "Oh, I don't have that issue because it's pink. I got the red one," and off they get. So I had to read this magazine, like 6 or 7 of them, to see if I could sell it. And I could not see myself selling it because there was so much, hey, this is how to please your man, and here are the key spots to touch. And I go, no, I'm not going down that road. Yeah. So that was
Cosmo.
That was Cosmo, and I ended up at Time, which is the most conservative news magazine on the planet. No sex. So okay.
Oh well. All right. Chocolate.
Oh, I had some 5 minutes ago.
What kind?
I had a Hershey bar because that's the most common, but I really prefer a more exotic chocolate.
Oh, like what?
But it's hard to get chocolate at a CVS. We're next to a CVS store, and all they have is.
What are you looking for?
Well, I love the. They're little squares, the Ghirardelli, and
dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, and unfortunately,
do you like the ones Because at Christmas time, they always have those bags with the mixed squares, and there's the caramel or the salted caramel. No, it has to be
sea
just
salt.
Yeah. It has to be just
peanut butter.
Just dark chocolate.
Yeah, just dark chocolate, and preferably 70% or 65%.
Oh, wow.
Because if you go up to 78 or 80%, it's like baking chocolate. Why don't we just crazy? So I can either eat a Ghirardelli square that is dark chocolate. I could pretty much eat that all day, or I could eat a bag of Nestle chocolate chips.
Oh, those are the best.
You just have a few. It's supposed to go into a cookie, but instead it goes in my mouth.
Yeah.
And
by a few, you just have the whole bag. And
before you know it.
Yeah.
Before you're not like in the first 5 minutes, but clearly in 15.
How do you feel about really fancy high-end chocolate?
I don't.
Do you like that, or your Ghirardelli is your?
No, there is one. I believe it's a Swedish one. It's called Droste, Droste, with an umlaut over the E. Droste. Droste is a dark chocolate, and I believe it's made in Holland.
Okay.
And it comes in an octagonal box, 8-sided box. And there's a circle of them inside, like they're stacked up on their edge on the side, like they're quarter size. They're exactly the size of a quarter, and they're just stacked in a circle. And then in the middle, there's like a tire lies on the ground. There's a stack of maybe 8 of these little quarter-sized chocolates. So you have a circle around the edge, and then a little stack in the middle. And I can sit there and watch. It's really embarrassing to admit this, because I can watch a game on TV.
A game?
I don't usually watch games. You caught me on that. I don't care about football.
Like Jeopardy?
But no, I don't. I walk away. Missy watches it all the time.
I like Jeopardy.
She loves with Jeopardy. And every now it's always Ken Jennings, and he walks in there and he says,
I haven't watched it in a long time, but it's fun. I like trivia.
So. Oh, there it is. And there's always one guy that he won the night before, so he's there again. And his total 2-day winnings, $22,000. And let's see if the other 2 newcomers can beat him. And here are the topics for today.
But you're not watching that with your box of chocolates.
No, I'm actually watching BritBox, which is an English streaming service, and they have some of the best shows on.
So you're watching your detective mysteries in your cute little town.
And I will have that little square octagonal box opened up, and I say to myself, I'm only going to have 3, and I'm going to. You just puts it on your tongue, the chocolate, and you wait for it to melt, and you're watching the show, and nothing really can be better. Well, there's certainly things that can be better, but that's pretty good. And then I find out that I ate half the box.
Oh, yeah.
I know you look on your face like that happened.
I mean, I've been there.
That's funny. I've
Sounds
been there.
great.
So you admitted I like that about you.
Yeah. Mine would probably be a pint of ice cream, but.
Oh, favorite flavor?
Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip.
Double chocolate. Wow, I never heard that.
Chocolate chip. Yeah. The chocolate chip.
Is there any in the
Which is
refrigerator?
funny because I'm not really a big chocolate person, but that ice cream is so good.
The best.
So good.
Okay. Do you get the small, like what you bought in the freezer there?
No, I get a pint.
You get a pint, right? Yeah, why not? That's better than getting the quart, because the quart then they get stale because you don't eat it all.
Yeah, a quart would be.
There's too much, right?
Too much.
Exactly. So, all right, chocolate. That was you. Yeah,
now it's me.
Okay, escargot.
Snails. I've never. I always think of.
Really?
Maybe I think of your story.
It was a sad story.
With the shirt?
I shot it across. I had a woman. There was a time in my life where I did lunch for a living, and I would have to take out all my clients at Time Magazine. And there was this one woman, very beautiful woman, and she would like to have lunch at a French restaurant, Heure de Trois. And so I would meet her.
That's where Café Un deux Trois?
Yeah, Café
That's
Un
where
deux
I used
Trois.
to. That's funny because I was just gonna say my one memory of escargot is going there with my mom because we would always meet her best friend there in the city, and she would get escargot, and I'd be like, ew.
Exactly. So I would go with her, and she had this beautiful white dress on, and they give you this little dish with 6 depressed,
Yes.
and the eggs, the escargot were in each of these little depressed 6 scooped out ceramic holders.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it had the garlic and mixed. Oh God, it was the most wonderful thing. And they gave you a holder, so you would take out the snail, which was still the entire snail, which included the shell, and the holder would, because it was hot, would squeeze around the shell, and then you had a tiny little fork, and you would pull out the escargot and eat it, and then put the empty shell back into that spot. So I'm doing this, and the holder was misaligned. It wasn't, and it took the shell and it shot across the table and hit my beautiful woman guest in the chest, and it just rolled down her chest, the dress. Well, you never touched her skin because she had it was up to her neck. So the dress. So I saw that, and I got up and I wanted to help her pat.
But there's nothing you could do.
Then she said to me, "I'm okay. Please don't do that." And I said, "Okay." I wanted to do anything to help her. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
And so she said, "No, don't worry about this. It'll be fine." So the rest of the lunch, I was at the beginning of the lunch. Escargot was an appetizer, and I had to look at that dress stained, and we still remain friends.
That's good.
But it was an escargot story like
It's a moment that you share.
none other, man.
Does she bring that up?
Sometimes. I don't see her as much. This is the woman that very beautiful woman that I took skiing. She had she like skiing in Peru, and I invited her to go skiing in Lake Placid, and she said, "I don't ski in the East," and I never went skiing. I said, "What does that mean, skiing in the East?" And she said, "Because the snow is hard. I only ski out west or in Peru." So we went on the corporate jet, the Fokker 24, which is the famous story. You just can't say Fokker 24 without people laughing. But that was a really fancy jet, and I was the host. And she kept saying, "Oh, I want to ski only with you," because for some reason she was fixated on thinking I was a good skier in my prime. Maybe
But
could have.
you had never.
I'd never skied. And then when I went into the ski house, Rudy, who owned the ski house, and remember, I had 20 people, 20 guests,
Right.
and they were all lined up to get skis, and I had like $1,000 on me that I was going to distribute so we could get the lift tickets, and so I can't remember this woman's name. So anyway, she's sitting there. She's the last. Before me, she was the last one to get fitted. So Rudy says, "What did you ski last?" And she said 160s. And I was listening to that, like a robot, 160s. And he goes, "Okay." So he gave her 160s and the ski poles and the boots. And then he comes to me, and he's very thankful that I'm bringing him all this business. And he says, "Hey, Jeff, this is the first time we're meeting. Thank you so much for giving us, the opportunity to outfit you. Bus is waiting outside with all your equipment. We put all the skis in the little rubber racks that are outside the bus that you put the things in, poles in. What did you ski last?" And I'd never been asked that question before. Mm-hmm. And I looked at little, whatever her name is, and she said 160s. So I sort of doubled it. I said 300s. And he stopped and he said, "You did what?" I said 300s. That was the last size I skied. He said, "We've never rented a pair of 300s. That would be a 12-foot ski. We can't even put it in the store. We don't have 12-foot ceilings. We couldn't put it against the wall." And I became arrogant, and I said, "Well, if you don't have 12-foot skis, give me the largest ski you have. This is how I ski." And,
I'm a cartoon character. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a cartoon character. And whatever her name is sitting there listening to me demanding 12-foot skis, 300s. And she was absolutely blown away that I had the ability to ski on them. And she and I, until I proved myself a fraud, but that's another story for another time. She just clung to me. I was the way she wanted to go.
Yeah. So back to truth, huh?
Yes, I don't. Oh, right. I did. Didn't I skip away from that?
No. That was a while ago. I don't know what we were talking about now.
Yeah. So, well, we escargot.
Oh, escargot.
And,
sure.
And,
yes.
and so.
And it was the woman that, yes.
And the woman that I hit
Yes.
in the chest with the
comes
escargot.
together.
Yeah. So, okay.
So, yeah. But that's funny that we both actually think of
At
Cafe un Deux Trois, yeah.
And your mom went there with a best friend from Connecticut.
No, from college.
From college.
Yeah, so she went to NYU, and her best friend always lived in the city, and so we would go in to visit her, and we'd always have dinner there.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like 7th Avenue and 52nd Street or 53rd Street, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So funny.
Yep, small world. See, our paths crossed.
I know. I'm getting a low battery warning just in case we disappear, but
that would be the best. A podcast
just a warning
that just
for all
eases
of
us out. Actually, this is the way we protect you.
Yeah, because our lists are so long, Gotta cut it off at some point. So it's my turn to.
Yes.
Okay.
Escargot.
You're ready?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Okay.
I've ever been.
Thanksgiving.
It's going to be sad for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because we've always had Thanksgiving, and as you, I don't have the best relationship with my kids, and so when we invited them out, they declined. And,
I'm sorry.
And I said to Missy, "Why don't you go in, and I'll stay with the dog. We have a puppy." So she didn't want to do that. She wanted to stay with me. But then the bigger issue of wanting to make amends with the kids that I always find fault with because I'm such a miserable person. And a couple of my best friends over the weekend said, "You got to square this away. You got to fix this."
Yeah.
And then they told me how to fix it. And it was a wonderful, my friends are very wise.
Aww.
And they said, you have to apologize, and then whatever they say that might be annoying to you, you have to bite your tongue.
Yeah.
And the senior friend said, "That's all I've been doing for 2 years with my kids. I've been biting my tongue."
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to go down that road." So Thanksgiving hasn't been set yet,
Okay.
but I think it will happen where my kids will come to my, I think.
Okay.
They'll
That
come
sounds
to,
promising.
and that sounds promising.
It does. It does.
So,
I mean, I don't know yet what it's like to have adult children, but I
You won't
imagine
have
it
any
must be
problems. They'll love
difficult. No, but I feel like you don't choose who your kids are. They become their own people, and then you have to deal with that.
Are you going to your mom's?
My parents are coming to us, actually.
You're doing the chicken, the turkey?
We were supposed to do Thanksgiving last year for my family, and then we got sick, as we do on all holidays.
All holidays,
With
right.
small children, we just get sick every
you-
week.
So you're going to buy a turkey or you're going to cook it?
So I think I'm just going to roast a chicken, actually, because
A chicken, okay.
it's only us. The kids aren't going to eat anything.
Costco. Go
they'll
get
eat
4 or
some
5 chickens
bread.
from Costco for $20, and it's the best.
No, I mean, even Ryan said, "Oh, we can get," because we catered it one year at my house from a nearby restaurant, which was fantastic. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like I should make something. I feel like
See?
it's not hard to make a roast chicken.
No.
I'll just put that in,
It's
and we'll
not.
have some desserts and sides. And my mom's gonna bring stuff too.
Of course. Your
And my sister likes to go out for Thanksgiving with her family, so they'll do their dinner and then they'll come over for dessert. So that's nice.
Will they bring dessert?
I'm sure they'll bring something. Usually my brother-in-law brings chocolate cream pie, your favorite.
What time did you want me? Anyway.
Come on by, bring the puppy.
That would be. So that.
So that's wow, that's
Yeah, well, that's why I was telling you yesterday. I was not at my top.
but it sounds like you have some good support around you.
Yes. Yeah. So
All
what
right.
else is there?
Is that all your words? Do you have anything else?
Oh no, I have more words, and I didn't want to.
You wanna pick one more?
I'll do. I had one that I don't know why I chose this.
Oh.
Your first reaction when you hear vitamins. Do you take vitamins?
I like vitamins.
Oh, you do? Supplements?
I take gummy vitamins. Delicious.
Okay.
Which will come to no surprise to those that know I love gummy bears and
Oh, of
gummy
course.
worms and all that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's like a nice safety net, you know, if
In the morning.
I take them at night, actually, just because that's when I remember to do it.
So
But my kids take vitamins too, because I just feel like
they need something.
you don't know what they're really eating, so
Oh, right.
you gotta
You
gotta make yourself feel better. If they eat one bite of dinner, then at least there's the vitamins.
Who has the better appetite?
It depends on the day.
Oh, right.
Depends on the meal.
Right.
Yeah.
They're both funny.
They eat so much when they're sweet little babies, but then
Right.
they
Okay.
don't eat anything.
And they don't.
But snacks.
All right.
So yeah, vitamins. I'm good on vitamins.
Do you have another one for me or no?
I have a bunch on here, but I don't know which one to end on.
Okay.
How about dance?
Well, I'm not a good dancer.
That's what you automatically think of.
Dance.
Yeah.
I am not. I think of dancing. I think of when Missy and I were dating. We went to a place called the Mug, which was like a little tiny bar with peanuts on the floor, and they played Johnny Mathis, and they had only booths. They didn't have any open tables. Everywhere you sat was a little private booth. Mm-hmm. So you could sit there and look at each other and talk sweet, whatever, hold hands. And then they were playing Johnny Mathis and the 12th of Never, and we get up and dance, slow dancing. So dancing for me in those early days was always slow dancing. It was like feeling the person in your arms.
Oh, okay.
And it was... it obviously sensual and obviously close and
that was the thing. Would you plan to go dancing with friends? Like, would you say that?
Well, we did go to a couple of hot spots in New York, but we didn't. The noise was so loud that it wasn't music anymore. That they crank it up so loud that you don't. Yeah, it's music, but you're not enjoying the music because it's just pure decibels, and you feel it in your lungs, and it wasn't that enjoyable to me. I'd much rather go to the more intimate setting of dance. So I love dancing when it's that way, but just crazy dancing. No, I
crazy dancing.
I don't do it. Now.
No?
I'm 76.
No crazy dancing.
You get a little stiff. When you get older, things you become a little more like inflexible, and not for everybody.
And I mean, I guess it doesn't come up as commonly in your life if you're not going to events where there's dancing.
Yeah, I don't go to
know?
events. People don't say, "Hey, Jeff, why don't you and Missy come out dancing with us?" That has never happened.
Does anyone
to
say
me.
that
no
now?
No one
though?
says that. But you like dancing,
Yeah, I mean, when it.
right? I mean,
Yeah, I like dancing at parties or
Right.
when you're out with friends or
So,
with my kids. You know.
kids dance?
Yeah. Actually, my youngest son is taking dance lessons.
No.
He's in dance class. Yeah. I mean,
They have that at the school?
no, at a dance school.
You take them to the dance school? God,
Yeah.
My parents did that for me.
Really?
But it was like ballroom dancing.
No. I mean, this is 2-year-olds. So.
Yeah, I know. But
They're just hopping around the room having fun.
having a good time. Oh,
but it's fun because it's him and a bunch of girls in tutus. And he loves it.
Good for him.
But, yeah.
That's why he's playing the guitar on the stoop.
Yeah, he's
like
our
that.
little performer. So, you know what?
You
Why
should
not?
give him the 16 personality test.
Yeah.
See where he comes up with. So that
Yeah, I mean,
that completes.
Yeah, I'm still getting this low battery warning, so.
Okay, so we probably wrap it up and we'll
Yeah.
charge the battery.
Yeah, for next
But
time.
So should I give the last joke, which is kind of like
I think you have to.
I have to. It's a tongue in.
You said you had it.
I did have it. I do have it. If this is just a suggestion more than it is a joke, but if you're going to be cremated when you die, you could say to the family that you want to be put in an hourglass so that you can still participate in family fun night when they have to time things. And because you will always be there long after your physical is gone. I'm actually going to suggest that to my undertaker friend, that he do that, because people never gave that much thought to put it in an hourglass, put the ashes in an hourglass.
Yeah, have fun with the family.
On that note, you probably alienated our whole listening audience. This could be your last podcast, but anyway, we're going to have guest speakers, so tune in next time.